Hello my dear friends, and today we're gonna take a look at another product of Adafruit industry. This is Adafruit Trinked M0. Let's take a look what it is and then gonna talk about it. So I never actually had chance to open it since I got it like a few months ago. Right. So look at this teeny tiny thing. This is pretty beefy microcontroller from Adafruit Industries, and I got it for when I tried to play. I had a project in mind, but I still didn't have time to actually make it to happen. And this little guy is supposed to be actually heart of it. So, but let's not talk about that particular project. Let's talk about what it is. So, because obviously I cannot memorize a lot of technical details, I'm gonna actually print myself a cheat sheet. I printed myself a cheat sheet, and we're gonna talk about what this guy actually is. Alright, I'm gonna obviously share it, and all information also available at the Fruit website. So this is AdSam D21 E18 32-bit Cortex M0 Plus microcontroller. It has 256 kilobytes of flash. Well, obviously they try to compare, this is directly printed from their website, to compare it with 8085, which is obviously much more dinkier than this guy. 32 kilobytes of RAM, way more than 8085. Actually, I do have Digistomp play with it. It's very limited in comparison to this little dude. And actually, this 8085 was kind of predecessor on that particular project. But let's just continue. 42 MHz 32-bit processor, 6 times as fast as 8085. Well, like, I don't really care. Like, I have my other specs, but in case you are interested, it's way faster than. It has native USB support for every OS, so that's mean this little port over here, you can just connect it to any OS like Linux, Windows and Mac and things like that, and it's just gonna work. You don't have to install any sort of drivers. It's gonna just probably emulate a serial port, and it's gonna work right out of the box. So obviously it can be used with Arduino. That's the biggest reason I want to use it. Another thing, it can be used with CircuitPython, which is Adafruit own development in area of like Pythons for microcontrollers. It has built-in on LED, so it shows that its power is on. It has a red LED on pin 13. It's fairly standard thing to have LED on some specific pin which you can blink on and off, but it also had RGB dot star LED, which is, I don't know what the hell it is, but we're gonna take a look where it is, because I'm gonna zoom in this little board and we're gonna actually go into details. Then also a very interesting thing, it has 5 Gpios available for your how to say, disposal. So here are they, right? So like 1, 2, like 5 on each side, but it's not all of them are available. So 210 is available and 3 in 4 is available for you. So another one is just 3 volt over here, USB over here. I don't know what that really means. USB like enable, disable or something. A battery, ground and reset. Interesting that they actually made the external reset for whatever reason. Yeah, I would probably, yeah, it's debatable. Anyways, let's go. 5 Gpios pins and digital ins and outs, pull-ups or pull-downs. All like the best stuff you need. With internal pull-ups, pull-downs, perfect. 3 of the I/O can be used as 12-bit analog input. Isn't it awesome? 12-bit in this little teeny tiny device. I think this is actually a major factor why I bought it, because 12-bit I needed for a project which is I may share it in the near future. Through analog output on 1 I/O pin can be used to play 10-bit quality audio clips in Arduino. Cool, don't care, but it's cool. They compare it with original Trinket, which was based on 8085. 2 high-speed pulse width modulated outputs for several LEDs. Perfect. 3 pins can be used as a hardware capacitive touch sensor with no additional component required. Amazing. This is amazing. Can drive 9 pixels or dot star at any pin with enough memory to drive 8000 plus pixels. And they have also some sort of DMA NeoPixel support on one pin. I guess one pin can be configured to have direct memory access. So you can drive pixels without having to spend any processor time on it. Perfect, this is amazing. Native hardware SPI, I2C and serial available on 2 pods, so you can connect them to any I2C or serial device with true hardware support and not annoying bit banging. Yes, this is amazing as well. This is perfect little board. Yeah, whatever. This is some reset switch for starting your project code over. I guess they just use reset to reboot the board. Power with either USB or external output such as battery, it'll automatically switch over. Dimensions 27 millimeters this way, 15.3 millimeters this way, and 2.7 millimeter high. With micro USB it is 3.5 millimeters. This is amazing, and it weighs only 1.4 gram. And the most amazing part, it cost $9 American dollars, a little bit more Canadians, like around 10, 11. Still pretty awesome for my purpose. And it comes with some headers, some DuPont headers. You can whatever solder them in. So let's take a look a wee bit closer on this little guy. So as I mentioned, dimension is pretty small. That's like 30 by 15 millimeters. So over here we have 2 LEDs. This is on LED, just on this side. This is that 13 pin red LED, which you can control, put it on and off. Obviously, microcontroller itself supports way more pins that we actually had, the pin out over here. Like this is much more powerful. But if you really need tiny form factor, this gonna cut it. Especially if you don't need that many crazy amount of GPIOs. So here's the microcontroller. As you see, obviously it has way more pins. It's I don't know, 24 or something, 8 by or maybe 32. I don't even, let me count it. Yes, this 32 pin QFN package. Then we have power side of business, because as I understand, you able to actually connect this thing to external battery, and obviously you have to have a voltage regulator over here. So this voltage regulator, which is gonna be 3 volt voltage regulator, will able to supply the power for this whole microcontroller. And this is circuitry around the voltage regulator. This is reset button, which obviously we're gonna reset and restart your program. That's all. This, I assume, is that dot star LED over here. We're still gonna see what is this, but it totally looks like LED or some sort of light sensor, but to me it looks like LED. So yeah, we would be able to play with it. So as I mentioned, there is a reset buttons, 3, 4, ground, battery. We are actually gonna go over that with you together, because I do have another cheat sheet printed, but I just want to see the layout of all components over here. On the other side we have what are those two? We actually have some information, blah blah blah, for 8 MHz, 3.3 volts. So all this stuff, it's very important, all this stuff runs at 3.3 volt logic. So if you want to whack some 5 volts over here, this guy not gonna like it. So if you want to like talk to 5 volt logic or take 5 volt logic, you have to have voltage logic level converters. So battery 4 to 6 volts. So yeah, this is what this VREG voltage regulator will support. And they say 3 volt 05 amp. I don't know what's that, probably total load of all this plus peripherals, which this voltage regulator can handle. Not sure what those two really means. Those two seems like a battery connector, so you able to solder SMD JTAG, geez, like GST battery connector, JTAG, and you able to power this little guy over the battery or USB, when you're developing obviously USB, when you wanna deploy it in your project, you're gonna power it through here, or you can just solder directly, depends. Right, so over here, as I understand, this is battery connector. This USB essentially it means like 5 volts which come from USB, which is pretty cool. Like you have USB power over here, but obviously available only when you are connected to USB. If you have the battery, that's gonna be over here. But from the battery you can have 4.7 volts, so that's whatever, or 4.5, depends what you're powering this thing with. Right, so let's talk about pin designation. For this I have to zoom out again. Okay, so now we have very nice cheat sheet which is provided by Adafruit Industries themselves. So this is obviously can be found on their website, but they just printed it for convenience rather than talking from the screen. Unfortunately, I don't have color printer, printed it in grayscale, but we still can figure out things. So as I mentioned about some components over here, pinouts can be, so this 3 pins over here, they can be analog or digital, and I think 4 of them can be analog. They can be analog in, and as far as I understand, that's where you can have 12-bit ADC. One of them can be controlled as DUC. Look like number 3 is only digital, and it has the 10-bit DUC, as I mentioned in their documentation. Also, we have I2S, I2C. Here's SDA, SCL pins. Have MISO and some other MOSI and clock over here. This is for SPI access. This is amazing. 3 and 4, and also number 1. They support touch. This is amazing, so you can have some basic touch interface over here. What else? There is an external interrupt, so this is amazing. Very interesting that they also mentioned over here, so technically you can unsolder this LED, I guess, or solder some little pin over here, and you can have a little bit extra kind of extra pin, so which is good to have. There is never enough, like sometimes not enough of digital pins. So on the back side over here, as you see, like as I mentioned, there is a battery GST connector, SMD battery connector, and there is also 2 pins which are for the flash access. So this is cool because technically you're able to reflash your bootloader using those 2 pins if you have appropriate USB, for example, interface, which you will be able to flash your bootloader from your computer. There is a dot star LEDs pins. As I understand, dot star is this little thingy over here, and it runs on 2. By the way, the first row over here, like over here and over here, those are physical pins on a microcontroller. Pins are over here, those are pins in IDE. So if you want to access the thing in IDE, you'd use like 13 or 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 over here. If you want to, I'm not sure if these are accessible, 7, 8, 19 and 20. I would like to see if this actually works, but if you can reconfigure those two, those two are physically soldered unless you're gonna unsolder this little guy. So you still can squeeze out technically a little bit more GPIOs if you need to, but those whatever available over here, they are more than enough to do the business. So there is some warnings over here. So the total current of each port power group should not exceed 65 milliamp. Absolute max per pin 10 milliamp, 7 milliamp recommended. It's entire package 130 milliamp. So I guess you can not allowed to run many like 7 milliamp per this little package. Like for example, like if you have many pins which actually consume 7 milliamp, that may exceed this absolute max. Obviously, all pins are 3.34 logic, so never connect them to 5, like absolutely. 5 volt USB port, absolute max 500 milliamp. Yeah, cool. Positive voltage from just like VBAT. This is actually battery voltage, and this thing switches on the fly. Apparently, I'm not sure what on the fly means when you have plugged in the battery and unplugged USB, and it's, for example, gonna switch it automatically, not without any interruption. That would be awesome. 3.3 regulator probably only can handle 500 milliamp. That's pretty much it, but this is more than enough. This is more than enough for this little package to be very, very useful, and I think I'm pretty happy to have one. Unfortunately, at the moment, these little guys are out of stock on Adafruit website, but they are available also from DigiKey. So if you can, you know, if it works for you, you can buy it from DigiKey. But for example, on Count, it's actually easier to get from Adafruit than from DigiKey, because for some reason it's getting a little bit more pain in the ass to get them from DigiKey for some reason. So it has USB micro type B connector, which is awesome as well. It's a little bit over here, a little diagram explaining what sort of connectors these are, and here those two means IDE. Obviously those are color coded, but not in this particular case. Oh, I was wrong. This squiggly things means pulse width modulated. Yes, this is amazing. Alright, I think I'm gonna be wrapping it up. I already was talking quite a bit about the board, about capabilities, about how it works, how it's supposed to work, and the pins and things like that. The only thing what's left is actually create some kind of cool project and share it with you. So, but at least I'm pretty happy that Adafruit come up with such a little tiny board, which is quite capable and at the same time is quite small. So thank you guys for watching. If you like this sort of videos, please ring a bell or subscribe, because I'll be covering a little bit more of this sort of microcontrollers. I have actually a few more coming down the pipe, and I'll be making actually some tiny project with this one. So guys, stay tuned, subscribe, and see you next time.